is Vexylon and I have thalassophobia. So what better way to cope with my fears than by diving headfirst into the ruins of a long-dead utopia? Welcome to Atlantis. This fully underwater map is packed with jaw-dropping, nipple-twisting biomes that will make you biome-sexual, and 4 terrifying bosses standing between me and survival, including a tech mosasaur, Shrek, evil Twilight Sparkle, and the strongest of them all, the Alpha Leviathan. But don't worry, the schizophrenia doesn't stop there. Because I have a clinical case of masochism, I crammed this already cursed world with as many mods as I could find and financially afford. Can I conquer the sunken lands in 100 days? Or will the local fish mafia slap me into cement shoes and send me to my watery grave? Let's find out. Before starting our journey, we of course have to name ourselves. Now, with us playing on a stunning map such as Atlantis, it's only natural that we give our character an according name. Vexylon the Submerged. Yeah, very creative, I know. Spawning in was an unusual but welcome sight. No blinding sunbeams, just a deep blue ocean illuminating our surroundings. Thankfully, we do spawn in a quote-unquote air bubble, and I say quote because it's more of a cube than a bubble if you ask me. But I'm not really bothered by this, shapes are confusing either way. Anyhow, we start our adventure as every single previous one, hitting a tree. Yet again, somehow I've missed this feeling. No matter how repetitive starting an arc might be, it never gets old. Beating the ever-living hell out of this poor tree gave us thatch and wood. Paired up with some rocks we picked off the ground, we've made ourselves the basic arsenal of a pickaxe, hatchet, and intrusive thoughts. And what else to do when you have intrusive thoughts other than committing heinous acts of violence towards the organic fauna surrounding you? Decapitating this poor pigeon, I robbed it of its luscious skin and used it to craft myself a water skin. Whoa, that kinda rhymed. And while hunting my next victim, a glowing orb caught my eye. At first, I thought it was some kind of explosive, so my only logical course of actions was to try and poke it. Yeah, I know, I am extremely intelligent. My mom tells that to me all the time. But as it turned out, it was a supply crate. And inside was a free scuba tank? No way. This can't be real. A free scuba tank? This must be some sort of trap, a scam, a ruse. Ark doesn't just give you things for free, right? Even after picking it up, I fully expected it to explode, kill me, and rickroll my corpse for the sake of dehumanizing me. Luckily for us, the developers of this map were very considerate with giving the player free gear, for the sake of not having to grind for hours on end just to learn the scuba blueprints. That's very kind of them. If only they were the head developers of Wildcard. After looting the drop, I spotted a nearby parasaur walking around all high and mighty, thinking it owns the goddamn place. So I had to quickly remind it that such actions will not be tolerated, and I did so by piercing its skull with my spear and harvesting its body components for hide. I needed said hide to make bolas, because right now, 2 of our biggest threats are bloodthirsty raptors and twink-thirsty goth girls with jet black strap-ons, both that require us needing some way of stunning them. Soon after crafting said bolas, I found a level 150 moss chops. Boy oh boy, hopefully he doesn't want any ridiculous food. You just had to be extra bougie, didn't you? Because why would you want something normal like a mako berry or, I don't know, spoiled meat? Nah, you just had to want prime fish meat. Well, congratulations! Because you're a greedy dipshit, now both you and I are walking away from this deal with our hands empty and our asses handed to us. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is now ruined. Thankfully, that feeling was short-lived, as while I was walking through one of the city ruins, I found this very big house, and walking into it, I find none other than an explorer note. This is huge. Since this map doesn't have an explorer note map, they are way more valuable here. After collecting it, I proceeded to mop the floor with every fleshling that dared cross my path. I kid you not, there were no weak dinosaurs left after I got done with the place. And I say weak because the ones with more than 500 HP were too tough to kill. Even so, I gave a shot at killing this Carno by hiding in the little building next to him, thinking that the door was too small for him to fit through.
Are you sure about that?
Unluckily for me, he gained sentience and realized that he can just hunch over, go through the door, rip my intestines out, and choke me with them from behind while he does some stuff I can't say, otherwise YouTube would demonetize me. Even so, after I broke out of his iron grip, my game froze. And it was at this moment I knew that this wasn't something as minuscule as lag. It was a calculated act of digital terrorism orchestrated by Wildcard themselves. This was a betrayal of the highest order, a Stockton slap straight to my luscious cheeks from the Ark gods themselves. Eventually, I got my stuff and found what seemed to be the perfect base location. A couple rocks stacked up very high in the air, connected by some stone bridges. Later on, we can easily block the entrance off with a behemoth gate and be safe and sound. But until then, let's just put our humble shack on the highest rock for now. That seems like a good call. Honestly, I don't know if you can call this a shack, since it doesn't have any walls. But in any case, we've got 2 refining forges, a closet to shove all of our yaoi dojins in, and a campfire to warm our crusty little toes. Yeah, this surely isn't a house. It's more like a hole. A glory hole. Now, thankfully, the devs were also very kind to put an abundance of high-quality metal nodes across the map, so we had easy access to metal early on, which was very helpful. With said metal acquired, I could now start climbing the ladder of primitive gear by making a smithy, which only took me a couple of minutes. And with the leftover metal now smelted, I made a metal pickaxe and spent the rest of day 1 farming metal, which I definitely missed doing. Now, on the morning on day 2, I was still whacking rocks. Just this time with my forehead, with the hopes of caving my skull in and not being able to comprehend how boring farming in Ark actually is. While last night's haul was smelting, I took the time to make a mortar and pestle, and craft a whopping 9 trank arrows. Yes, 9 trank arrows, mind you. I am now powerful enough to sedate my father after he has come home from a football game. And with the metal now successfully smelted, I also crafted a hatchet and a crossbow. I armed myself with around 50 arrows and left my base to start hunting. I've never explored this area before, so I took a breather to take in the beautiful scenery of this map. The ocean seems so peaceful when you aren't in it. Look at the Sleet Sictus, for example. They are so majestic when they aren't trying to turn your raft into shredded wood. Unluckily for me, while taking in the beautiful scenery, I got violently gagged by a small mafia group of raptors, which proceeded to ruthlessly pin me against the hard ground and stomp me until I took the form of a flatlined pulp of blood and guts. This was a kind reminder from Ark that I am not allowed to let my guard down for even a second, or else my body is going to look like the biologically engineered victims of the Q from the hit book called All Tomorrows. Soon after I got my stuff, I ran away from that place into a small little area where I found a level 135 Parasaur.
Woo! Yeah, baby!
This was genuinely very lucky. And look, we also happen to have tranks on us, so let's try taming it. What could possibly go wrong? Unluckily, the Ark gods weren't done with piping me. Seeing as this little goober of a tiger wanted to tame a Parasaur, they only saw it fit to send a pigeon to knock my crossbow out of my hand.
Bro!
At this point, I am fully convinced that my entire life is scripted by a sadistic dungeon master. Thankfully, my reflexes were on point, and I instantly picked it up. Not before throwing some very friendly words at the pigeon that committed the crime though, just for peace of mind. Chasing it down, I bowled it and dumped all of my trank arrows into its left eye. Sadly, it wasn't nearly enough, so I had to channel my inner John Jones and beat what little consciousness this thing had out of its physical body, sending it into a temporary comatose state. And surprisingly, everything went as smooth as butter when I knocked it out. Okay, you can't make this up. I know I've said this like 10 times, but what are the chances? What are the chances of a pigeon knocking my crossbow out of my hand, leading to the Pyrosaur running straight into a T-Rex? Yeah, I feel like I'm being targeted by the God Hand from Berserk. Thankfully, this Rex wasn't even a boss level, so I took it out rather quickly with a meager 30 arrows piercing its skull.
Headshot.
When I came back from my bloody battle with the fierce beast, I fed my Pyrosaur some Mako berries, effectively taming it. With our first tame secured, I did what any responsible survivor would do, which was setting my sights on running the largest hallucinogen empire in the entirety of Atlantis. With the psychedelics now crafting up, I shivered in my base while freezing my testicles to the point of shattering. Crafting any armor was of no use, so I just stood AFK and wrote my script until the temperature rose again. On the sunrise of day 3, I put my hard-earned materials to good use, upgrading my crossbow as much as possible. Because guns won't be of much use here, seeing as most of the combat will be happening underwater. I upgraded the crossbow to Ascended using the Upgrade Station mod, which will help us a lot. Now, going out of the base, I wanted to test my new crossbow out, and oh boy, it sure as hell didn't disappoint. Look at that insane damage.
Now that's a lot of damage.
It hurts almost as much as putting a nail under your toe and kicking the wall as hard as you humanly can. Be honest with me, did that make you flinch? I bet it did, you silly little goose. Now, while I was out wreaking havoc, I saw an Archelon getting jumped by a Megalodon. At first, I was gonna let it die because, like my mother always used to say, if it doesn't involve you, you mind your fucking business. However, I realized that the big tortoise is a passive tame, requiring only a handful of biotoxin, so I quickly dispatched of the shark that was trying to decapitate it, and started feeding it rancid jellyfish intestines. Honestly, it was a little terrifying because I genuinely despise being in open water, especially without a tame, but it was worth the risk nonetheless. As soon after, we got ourselves the first water mount in the game, and just as I was about to head out, I looked up above me and saw a Basilosaurus stuck in the wall of the air bubble.
Oh my god, stop, bro, I'm stuck. Can you help me?
Then something just snapped.
Poseidon himself smiled upon me for the first time. I had to seize this chance. Arming myself with my upgraded crossbow, I liquidated all of the mantas that surrounded the Bassi. Now, after doing so, I realized that I'm missing food to actually be able to tame it. And under the fear of it breaking free, I ran out of the water straight into the nearby ruins in the search for prime meat. And admittedly, I had some trouble finding it, until eventually I spotted a baby stegosaur and its mother just innocently passing by. I'm so sorry, little one, but I will now proceed to pierce your skull with my arrow, chop you into stegoshimi, and feed you to an oversized lizard, all while your mother watches. What? That's too brutal. You haven't seen me play League of Legends. In any case, we finally have some prime meat. Although, we have to be very careful since it spoils faster than my attention span. Wait, what was I saying again? In any case, after committing heinous acts of biological engineering on the little stego child, a nearby pigeon flew in and stole 80 narcotics from my inventory. Yes, you heard me. 80 goddamn narcotics. And to make it even better, I instantly headshot it. But when I looked at its corpse, the narcotics were gone. They weren't even on the ground next to it. The only person that can solve this mystery is Detective Vex. Okay, so like the video, share, subscribe, leave a comment, join the Discord. Okay. So, the only logical conclusion I have here is that this bird saw you commit a war crime, flew in, stole 80 narcotics, downed all of them in one go, and then you shot it in a drug-induced haste. So, TLDR, bro injected 80 narcotics straight into his bloodstream and immediately ascended to the pearly gates. Pathetic seagull, you put good product to waste. Disgusting. Okay. I don't really care. Bassi is more important. Plus, we'll be making heaps of drugs soon enough, so it's really fine. Running back towards the Bassi, I swam up, fed it one prime meat, and then started waiting. Only to realize that prime meat spoils faster than me climaxing after seeing the brand new Shure MV7 Plus K in front of my very own eyes. Oh my god! It's the brand new Shure MV7K Plus microphone, baby! And I am editing the bit right now! Yeah! After realizing this, I took the only logical course of actions at my disposal, immediately face planting into the ground at Mach 10 speed, painting the ground, flora and fauna around me Cheeto orange. Completely incidentally, by the way. Surely it wasn't intentional. Vex would never jump off a cliff on his own accord. Anyway, running back, I grabbed my stuff and realized I needed a better food source, since I really didn't want to lose the taming effectiveness. Thankfully, I spotted a nearby lead sickness, so I simply abused the fact that it cannot cross the border between ocean and land and proceeded to do some stuff that I won't list because this bit won't be in the video. Never mind. With the giant whale dead, I harvested some raw prime fish meat from its corpse and hung around the Bassi for a little bit, feeding it until it tamed. Ending day 3 with 2 tames in the bag. Massive W. And as for day 4, what happened on day 4, you might ask? Listen, some things are better left unsaid. The hog might be watching. So, let's just skip to day 5 before I get extradited. Which started off by us gearing to venture underwater. I was eager to test out our new Bassi, and while doing so, I ran into a level 115 one stuck on the air bubble wall. Again, look, it might be a little cheesy, but if you look at it from another angle, I'm helping out this high level Bassi to unlock its full potential, since right now it's just slamming its head into the wall, which admittedly I also partake in quite often, but that's besides the point. So I fed it some prime meat, which I can now store in my Bassi so it doesn't spoil. Yeah, very clever strategy, I know. As I was about to celebrate my genius plan, the Ark gods sent a rogue manta to pimp slap my Bassi on its buoyant gluteus, which, in return, enraged it so much that it went batshit insane. Not only thundercunting the mana into the stratosphere, but also hitting the new Bassi in the crossfire, resetting its tame bar to 0. Are you even aware of the cardinal sin you've just committed? Of course you aren't! Your brain is the size of a peanut. Which is why I'm replacing you. I mean, look, my brain is the size of a peanut, but at least I'm kinda using it. The Bassi also got unstuck because of this, which was even more annoying. Now, in a completely unexpected turmoil of events that totally wasn't a bug and was absolutely planned in my Bassi taming handbook, the next feed timer was basically non-existent after the first bite. So, naturally, I tamed it in world record time. How? What? Why? Let's not ask any questions now, just accept it. Ayo! Let's go, baby! Now the low-level one is officially out of commission. With a beast this powerful, it was only right to give it an appropriate name. So, meet Gerald. Gerald! 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 With Gerald now saddled up, we took swim. God, that's such a weird thing to say, took swim. And after swimming out from the main bubble area, I was met with a vast and open space that, despite not having much at first, looked very beautiful. This is just the start of our exploration conquest, so I can't even begin to imagine how the rest of the map looks. In said open area, I found the first modded creature I added, the Tylosaurus. These things are basically just more agile and cooler Mosasaurus. We'll be taming this thing later on. However, for now, let's assert our dominance by beating the absolute shit out of it. Letting our anger out was refreshing. Now we can continue exploring in peace. And while exploring, a thought occurred to me. Shocking, I know. But I have to wonder, what's on the surface of the map? Maybe hidden treasures? A new biome? A forgotten city filled with ancient wonders? Or maybe, just maybe, a white monster energy can glistening in the sun. Okay, yeah, let's not go to the surface anymore. While scouting around, I spotted a glowing trident in the distance.
Meanwhile, in the time chamber. Vegeta, where the fuck is my Starfield safe? I told you what would happen. You crossed the line, Vegeta. Special beam cannon! Vegeta, that was my hard drive! All my brain! You, Vegeta! I'm going to kill you!
So, like the smart individual I am, it was only natural to beeline towards it. We arrived there at the start of day 6, and not even halfway in, I immediately got jumped by hordes of insatiable tenants living in Atlantis. God, what a tough crowd. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why these guys are now playing Fish, Feed and Grow in real life. Totally deserved. Well, taking into account that we aren't allowed to step thin in Atlantis until we grow stronger, I went out and explored a bit more. And I must admit, this map is even more beautiful than I first thought it would be. I mean, just look at this stunning royal blue forest. Absolutely breathtaking. I continued exploring, and we ventured so deep into the map that we found a fucking kraken! Okay, false alarm. Phew, luckily there's no kraken in here. It's just a terrifying statue of a gigantic octopus with piercing crimson eyes that also happens to be staring into the depths of our souls as if it knows all of our sins. And below it, I saw another one of those glowing orb thingies. Swimming up to it, inside I found nothing other than a 900 armor flak helmet. Wow. I was left speechless. Keep in mind that I am playing on base loot drop quality, so imagine if I had it boosted. I'd probably end up finding one of those masks from the Predator series, equipped with full-on X-ray and thermal vision. And as a cherry on top, I found enough black pearls to make one of those things. Not getting demonetized today, thank you very much. When the nearby dinos heard my terrible joke, they immediately started hunting me down with killing intent. I'm sorry guys, I'm just terrible at script writing. Ah yes, the peak of comedy. Making fun of myself so you guys validate me in the comments. I am, in fact, definitely not begging for attention. Arriving back home, I spent the rest of day 6 and the morning of day 7 farming berries. And honestly, it was a very good way to perform a dopamine detox. Just brainlessly munch on plant life for a couple of minutes. Eventually, I got bored and took swim again. However, this time was different, as I found the second modded dino I added, the Glaucus. This beautiful, majestic sea dragon looked absolutely stunning. It was so dignified, just humbly floating close to the surface, and not erratically attacking everything in sight like the other animals in the ocean. A very fun fact about this dinosaur is that it is heavily inspired by the real-life Glaucus atlanticus. Now, you might be asking yourself, Vex, why are you chanting satanic choir notes in your ARK video? But be not mistaken, my dear viewer, biologist Vex is on the case. The Glaucus atlanticus, or for us everyday goobers, the blue sea dragon, is a species of sea slug in the family of Glossidae? I totally didn't butcher that name. They float upside down on the surface of oceans and feed on none other than the Portuguese man of war. Yes, this little goober eats the most terrifying creatures on Earth for breakfast. Not only do they eat them, but they also steal their venom and use it as a defense mechanism against predators.
Oh my
And it doesn't stop there. The way you tame these guys is very cleverly put together. Since they feed on jellyfish in real life, they also spawn jellyfish around them in Ark. All you have to do is kill the nearby jellyfish and drag their corpses to the dragon to feed it. And as a final test of your might, it turns aggressive and forces you to battle it. Only after you beat it to a bloody pulp and assert your dominance does it... impregnate you. Apparently you also have a voice careful explaining how to tame it, and then you become a father. Does it make sense? Absolutely not! Otherwise, I'd probably be married and have a whole family in real life. But in any case, after triumphing, the Glaucus lays an egg and swims off into the void, leaving you a single parent. Look, I never signed up for fatherhood, okay? But here we are. Gotta love Ark. I gladly took the egg into my care, going back into the main bubble and hatching the egg in a waterfall, spending the rest of day 7 raising the child. With it fully raised up, I sadly wasn't capable of riding it yet, because the saddle only unlocks on level 88, which is pretty far off. This means that we will have to indulge in an extremely daunting task of committing massive amounts of genocide, which is what we did for the entirety of day 8, just swimming around and brutalizing every organism in sight. One highlight of this is me killing the hordes of enemies that ganged up on me and looting this sick drop, which inside contained a brand new pair of Mastercraft fur leggings. Because who doesn't need top-notch winter gear in an underwater city, am I right? Swimming around landed me at an area filled with a bunch of lily pads, and close by was a giant air bubble, so curiosity killed the Cheeto tiger. I had to go and check what it's about. And dear God, I wish I hadn't. As when I walked in, I was met with a gnarly sight. There are countless rhinonatas inside. This place looked like my stink bug infested window on an average summer. Don't worry, seeing as I'm clinically mortified of insects, I skedaddled out of there as soon as I could. Now, to relax from the horrifying sight I just witnessed, I proceeded to spend the entirety of day 9 and the morning of day 10 farming more levels, which I could show you with a sick montage. However, I'll save that for later, because who doesn't like procrastinating? Finally, after coating the ocean red, I got up to level 88, which finally unlocked me the Glaucus saddle. I immediately swam back to base and crafted it. Now saddled up and ready to go, I was ecstatic to test the Glaucus out, and I have to admit, it exceeded my expectations tenfold. These things are so fast and maneuverable, it feels like I'm blazing through the water in a sea breacher. And there's this weird venom charge meter on the bottom of the screen. This is definitely not going to be a completely busted mechanic that is going to make every single fight completely one-sided in the future. We all know a game as balanced as Ark wouldn't allow such things to happen. For now though, with this beautiful sea dragon, I think it's about time to go back to the capital city of Atlantis and explore it for real this time. Blasting through the entrance, I breezed by and started exploring. And I have to admit, this place is absolutely beautiful. The architecture is amazing. The only thing that's missing is a radio tower playing the top 10 hits of 3 Days Grace on repeat. But we'll deal with what we have. After all, life isn't all energy drinks and cool metal songs. Ending our field trip in Atlantis, I stumbled upon the creature I have been dreading to see. An ancient horror scarier than any mere mosasaur or megalodon. The Leviathan. A terrifying primordial whale, larger than any creature we've seen so far, housing 40 razor-sharp teeth, a monstrous jaw, and an aura of infernal doom. But honestly, still not nearly as terrifying as seeing a happy couple holding hands in public on Valentine's Day. Ugh, sickening. However, as a man, it is my duty to conquer my fears. So, the only logical thing to do was challenge it to a duel. The battle started strong, with me landing 3 whole hits on the ferocious animal. And after a whole 5 seconds of running away, it killed me in one shot despite me being on my tame. Do not approach 17-meter long and 57-ton heavy carnivorous whale. Noted. I'm never confronting my fears again. Screw that. To cope with my humiliation, I did what any mentally sane survivor would do. Run headfirst into a swarm of jellyfish. And after killing them and munching on their rancid innards, I unlocked my full potential. Said potential being able to conjure bubbles filled with enough electricity they would make Caesar Zeppeli blush, and manifest a fucking atomic breath beam? This attack is so ungodly powerful that it is capable of ionizing any animate creature within mere seconds. Seriously. I mean anything. Your hopes of getting lucky before God rings the 7th trumpet? Gone. And once you max out the Venom charge meter, oh boy, you unlock the discharge move. What does it do? Well, let's just say that after using it, you molecularly degrade everything in a 25-meter radius around you using the 67 septillion volts of erratic electricity, making you the dinosaur age equivalent of Nikola Tesla. Now, with me being aware of the full extent of the Glaucus's destructive power, I went back to base and geared up to search for an Anki, which required me to set sail northwest into the snow bubble. Arriving there, I searched high and low, and out of the whole snow bubble, I found 2 Ankies. And their levels, they were disturbingly similar to my IQ count. 35. However, the low-level ones got compensated by a level 100 RG that was next to them. With this being the first high-level Argentavis I spotted on the map, I wanted to try taming it. Unfortunately, the oversized sack of feathers decided to defy Newton's third law of motion and simply fly underwater, before disappearing into the dark blue abyss, never to be seen again. Well, that was something. Let's hope the Yankees don't grow a pair of wings and fly off as well. Before knocking them out though, I had to strip the nearby mana of its capabilities to inhale oxygen, which I did by degranulating his eternal cellular composition with my atomic breath. Now that he's gone, I swiftly knocked the Yankee out and waited for it to tame up. After it did, I compressed it into my Pokeball and went back home. On the way back, I once again bore witness to something quite irregular. Another snow owl flying in water. And my physics teacher said, "You need to know this. This is very crucial for your education." Yeah, right. This bird doesn't care for that. And look, it's having more fun than me. So, naturally, as someone who refuses to tolerate any form of joy or happiness in the dinosaur kingdom, I had to slaughter it. This place already proved my point of physics being useless. So, let's head over to Atlantis. Maybe there we can find solid evidence to prove that knowing 68 different math formulas for one geometric shape is also pretty useless. Sadly, there was none, but don't worry. Our hopes aren't dead yet. Out of spite, I hit this lamppost, and it actually happened to give me metal ingots and crystal. What will I do with this information, you might ask? Most likely store it within the back of my subconscious psyche and never acknowledge it again. Bruh. Coming back home, filled with utter disappointment, I decided to take heed in my forefathers' footsteps and get blackout drunk.
Julian.
In fact, I was so drunk that, for some reason, my Gemini AI activated and started speaking utter nonsense.
Gemini, we're about to go live, where you can explore complex topics or ideas
Bro,
just by talking.
Huh?
Before we get started, take a quick look at this important information.
Man, bro, what? My phone just activated. What?
Honestly, I'm not even sure why I was acting like I just got hit with a ray of stupidity. It was only 6 PM. But I guess that's a part of playing Ark, eh? Gradually degrading your neurological capabilities until you're as smart as a skinless grape. Now, while my mental state was deteriorating, it was only natural to go and try taming another RG. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Thankfully, there is a spawn area for them in the main bubble, so I went there and found a level 95 RG. I was going to try taming it using the Glaucus's torpor bite build-up effect. However, the Argentavis decided that it would rather commit violent acts of self-imposed death by coming into direct contact with my Glaucus, which, at the time, happened to have 35 decillion volts of static electricity coursing through its body. At this point, I'm less of a survivor and more of an industrial hazard on legs. I've been grinding so hard until this point that the 30% of caffeine in my bloodstream completely evaporated. So, in true Gen Z fashion, I cast aside my ambitions, sunk into my gaming chair, and indulged in the carnal pleasures of doom scrolling through Instagram reels.
Do you know your brain rot ABCs? Send this to someone that you want to see oiled up. What is a strong feeling that someone gives off?
Aura!
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass.
Okay, I genuinely think that this video can't get any more idiotic than this. However, since we've hit rock bottom, we can only go up from here. So, with that in mind, I waited a little for the RGs to respawn. And I'm glad I did, as when I arrived back to the place, I found a whopping 3 low-level RGs. How amazing! This is exactly what I needed to boost my morale. And as it turns out, I actually did need that. Since, yet again, the Ark divinities decided to bless my poor shriveled soul with a max level Argent Davis. Turns out the Ark gods aren't completely merciless. Either that, or I accidentally performed a ritual sacrifice without me even realizing it. Now, I would like to take a collective moment and read a tip I got on my extinction video as to how to trap RGs. Cat Pope 2 says, you only need 2 gates to trap an RG or Snow Owl, I assume you're gonna use the same trap again later, Well, Mr. Cat Pope, you just so happen to be absolutely correct. I am too scared of change, so I smacked down the good old 4-gate trap and alerted the Argent Davis into it. See? The good old-fashioned trap always works. It has never let me down. After engaging it, I proceeded to swiftly chunk it out, feed it some meat, and tame it pretty quickly. At first, I decided to name it Donquavius, a very masculine name. But then I realized that this ain't no rooster, this is a hen. So, I renamed it to Petra. Look, I've got nothing against women with masculine names. Especially you, Francesca, you're really chill. But I do like the name Petra a little more. It's got that nice ring to it, you know? Nearby the taming grounds, I also found a Duodic. And while it was in fact a low level, I decided to tame it anyway, because I was planning on building a large base soon. What the fuck? Yup, you heard me. It's official, it's confirmed, the deal is sealed. Vexylon is going to make an actual base in his 5th annual Ark video. No, you aren't dreaming. And if you are, wake up! So, a Duodicarus was mandatory. Seeing as it was a low-level one, I knocked it out rather quickly and tamed it up. Despite it being a low level, it took until the morning of day 15 to tame up. It was one of those moments that lasted forever. Kinda like when your mom and her friend of 35 years run into each other in the supermarket. Give me 5 minutes, sweetheart. Mommy rarely runs into Miss James. Let me talk to her real quick to catch up. Though it finally tamed. Now comes the part you've all been waiting for. The epic montage of farming. Editor, commence the most insane, epic, ultra, extremely cool, awesome, amazing farming montage! Okay, that was pretty sick. I mean, I got an eargasm just listening to all of those scrumptious sounds of materials breaking. However, I think we throw in some music for the base building part. Yeah, I reckon it's about time, huh? 3, 2, 1, go! After working tirelessly on the base for almost 6 days now, I felt the need to reward myself with nothing short of pure, blissful salvation. Roll the drums, please, as recording Vex blesses you with... Fueled by this divine energy, I wanted to give myself a short break of brainlessly building the base, and instead make... Yeah, I forgot what I was going to write here, I'm sorry. But, yeah, taking a break from the excruciating base building, I got on my sea dragon and ventured out into the depths of the ocean, with the goal of finding anything that would drop me organic polymer. Sadly, this was not the case. As I would later find out, I was searching in the higher swamp bubble. Apparently, there are 2 swamp bubbles, the upper and the lower one, with the upper one housing the colony of rhinos, and the other one being Crab Rave Central. Unbeknownst to this information, I thought I was just mad unlucky. I did, however, steal a gacha child that I stumbled upon nearby. You could say that it's under new management, but not necessarily for the better. Oh, I just farted. Which, after, I started my search for a high-level Dunkleo, lasting from the evening of day 21 all the way to the morning of day 23. And Lord have mercy, the one I found had a whopping 12,000 torpor. Knocking this thing out was going to be a daunting task. Especially with how stacked this whole place is with megalodons, mantas, and eels. Talk about the devil, huh? I almost died to said eels. If you couldn't tell by now, being off of my teams in deep underwater genuinely mortifies me. Which you could have possibly picked up by my gut-wrenching screeches of pure terror and agony when I got attacked by the eel. Thankfully, the ganks were over. For now. But for good measure, I whistled my Glaucus to steadily follow behind me while I tranked the Dunkleo out. And dear God, we literally traveled over 5 grids knocking this thing out. We started here, and ended up all the way here. This entire taming fiasco felt like I was undergoing Navy SEAL training while wearing a chastity cage. My butt cheeks were constantly clenched due to the looming fear of unseen predators eyeing me up. I don't like how open this area is. If there is one thing I hate about oceans, it's the deep, empty space. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. See, my voice broke just talking about it. Now, we finally knocked the Dunkleo out. So, we'll just stick close to it and pray to the Ark gods that nothing goes wrong. And we all know that praying to the Ark gods is less of a plea for mercy and more of a formal invitation to get relentlessly violated by the transcendental forces of nature. Poseidon himself had other plans for my humble self, as he proceeded to ethereally manifest the one single creature I was not capable of besting. The fucking Leviathan.
No, this can't be fucking happening. This shit can't be fucking happening, oh my god.
Remember how I said that my life is dictated by a sadistic dungeon master? Yeah, scratch that. This is the work of Satan himself. And as for the corkscrew in my meatus, these things are also immune to my atomic breath. So I had to act fast. since it was dangerously close to my tame. The only option available at the time was to lure it away, which I did by getting its aggro and leading it away from my Duncleo. The Leviathan was very displeased with my course of actions, so he shook his head from side to side, bursting my eardrums and blinding me for 10 whole seconds. Not being able to see in the open ocean while knowing the biggest carnivore whale in history was haunting me was almost as terrifying as listening to any releases made by Katy Perry. I turned 180 degrees around and swam away, stopping to look back as I regained my sight. He was straight in front of me.
Oh man, I fucking hate this game so much.
Thankfully, it had lost its aggro by the time it got close. However, it sure as hell got my undies thoroughly soiled. The situation was so tense that even the Duncleo realized that we needed to get out of there. So, after dropping to my knees and pleading to the Duncleo,
Please, please, Dame, please, 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 we need to go. We need to go!
it finally tamed. Without a second to waste, I shoved it in my Pokeball and ran away without daring to look back. Because if I did, I would probably get a heart attack. This encounter has already left its irreversible marks on my already shattered mental psyche. I'll probably be shaking in my bed and quivering at the thought of the sea behemoth looking at me with that big-ass forehead of his. The encounter was actually so terrifying that I got a severe case of debilitating scoliosis, as when I jumped off of my sea dragon, I was standing sideways. Are there any chiropractors in Atlantis? Sadly, just like in the US, free healthcare doesn't exist here. So, I had to take matters into my own hands and manually shift my spinal cord back in place, which coincidentally is how most chiropractors do it anyway. You know what? Scratch that. I spent all of my money on my studio arms, so I can't afford a neurosurgeon right now. I went back to base to just calm my nerves, but I realized that I had to go back underwater and get organic polymer, which I found out was actually easily accessible in this blue forest biome next to me. Swimming into the area, I spotted hordes of Carcinos waddling on the floor. Wow, they were here all this time. Damn, I'm blind. Tearing up Mr. Krabs' family tree was very productive, getting us a sizable amount of organic polymer to stuff our latex sex dolls with. However, upon hearing what my intentions were with the resources, my Glaucus ascended into the sky in the hopes of getting away from me. Unluckily for it, it got stuck in the ceiling. I had my Duncleo on hand, so retrieving it was easy. Nice try, man. However, you're gonna have to do better than that if you wish to get away from my grasp. Now, this area also happened to be filled with heaps of metal-rich rocks. Paired up with the Duncleo, we were able to farm up a full inventory of metal. Now, while I was farming, a Mosasaur snuck up on me and tried fighting me.
Hey, can you stop, like... Okay, bro. Yeah, this is kinda awkward, you know, like, one of us has to die. So, can you, like, stop spinning around me and just come at me face to face?
Bye, have a great time.
Oh, and it's running away. Okay, see ya.
That was... embarrassing. And I thought that only humans were made of flesh and cringe. Ark just never fails to prove me wrong. Now, with a dozen tons of metal stored in my Duncleo's anal cavity, I spent the first half of day 25 just swimming back to base. Hey, it wasn't that bad, okay? I made sure to play Sereny Poji's best hits on repeat to boost my morale, which, despite me spending the rest of the day just filling up forges and smelting metal, kept the spirits high flawlessly. We arrived back home at day 26, and after using up the metal we smelted the night prior, I was able to upgrade my scuba gear, which honestly isn't really a big deal, since the only difference this makes is that I can carry one upgraded scuba tank instead of 10 normal ones. Now, it was at this point that I realized, despite having a gigantic base, it was actually pretty empty. So I had to fix this. After all, if my fans are going to be jumping in for the last 10 days, we need to have at least some basic appliances in our household, which I started off by making mortars and pestles, and grinding rocks and insect exoskeletons into this bowl, granting me cementing paste. Using said cementing paste to make myself a fabricator, which we will need to actually make the other appliances, a generator to fuel said appliances, and a fridge. And of course, we need to fuel all of this heavy machinery, so making some gas was in order for the rest of the night. We've gotta be careful though, with how much fuel we'll be making, maybe Atlantis gets on USA's radar. Bloodshed was in order for the following day, as I was, once again, prepared to face my fears. I wanted to slay the oceanic juggernaut. Yes! You heard me! I wanted to prove once and for all to those big suckers that they aren't as tough as they think they are. So, saddled on top of my Glaucus, I started making my way to the last Leviathan sighting ground I remember, which was the area where we tamed the Duncleo. On our way there, however, we got ambushed by an Alpha Mosa, which, I'm going to be completely honest, didn't even stand a chance. On one hand, I feel kinda bad for using a tame as powerful as the Glaucus. However, on the other, would you rather watch me ionize alpha dinos within seconds? Or watch me spam left click for 20 minutes for every alpha dino I'd like to kill? Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't watch me at all. Anyhow, I incinerated the Alpha Mosa and made my way to the cavern area where I last spotted the Oceanic Titan. However, upon arriving there, the giant scourge was nowhere to be seen. Swam around the entire cavern, where it was nowhere in sight, which was kinda disappointing nonetheless. Although they are absolutely terrifying, I was kinda looking forward to besting one in combat. However, life ain't all sunshine and rainbows. After all, if an aquatic colossus is so scared of me that they won't even dare come close to me, that's a win in my book. Anyhow, I swam back home, only to make some electronics, get a light migraine, and violently fart. Why, you might ask? Because I realized that my number one companion, the Glaucus, still doesn't have a name. I even said the word Glaucus 14 times until now. Well, technically 15 now, but you get the point. So, I had to think real hard. It isn't a male, so I can't name it Reginald. It isn't a female, so I can't name it Rhonda. You know what? I'll just ask it. My dear sea dragon.
What is your gender?
My gender? I'm a mechanic.
Okay, mechanic it is. Now that you're officially named, we can go back into the ocean and partake in some poaching. And for all of you animal activists that are saying that whale hunting isn't legal, I've got two ways of debunking that, okay? First off, this thing ain't no animal. This is a primordial wraith that runs on pure rage and bloodlust. And second, how come that hunting Cheeto tigers until extinction is allowed and considered funny by everyone, but when I put a prehistoric demon in a crucifix position and shatter its orbital bone structure using 12 to 6 elbows, suddenly I'm the bad guy? Society these days is just straight up fueled by nonsense. Who cares what society thinks? It's a dinosaur game, dude. Pipe down.
I'll come back here real quick. I want to check first. Because I know they can spawn near the entrances to the city. Oh! Well, would you look at that?
Wow, foresight is 2020 with recording Vex today. Now, it was my first time fighting this thing. So, naturally, I tried beaming it from a distance, which worked so well that it dealt a whopping 0 damage. Are these things immune to my Kamehameha? Yeah, try feeling bad for them now, huh? The battle continued on into day 28. I didn't even want to dare getting close and challenging it to a fisticuffs match. Screw that! So, I kept backpedaling while shooting electric bubbles at it. Said bubbles were also very hard to land, as if I angled them up too high or low, they would pass the whale and not damage it at all. And if I ran too far back, they would despawn. So, after some trial and error, I finally managed to kill the oversized sack of meat. which gave me a bunch of different stuff. Mostly bones like mandibles, skulls, spines, and such. And some raw Leviathan hide. What happened to the calf, you might ask? Don't worry, I handled it with mercy. Okay, now we can enter the sunken city and search for some trinkets. Cause what better way to efficiently waste your time than treasure hunting? After all, who doesn't like free stuff? As I was about to start searching for said loot, I ran into yet another giant sea beast. Now, I didn't want to do the whole bubble fiasco again. This is where my ultimate move, discharge, comes into play. By fueling my charge meter to the brim, I can just swim over to the big slob of flesh and disintegrate it on a molecular level in one move. This is an expensive but certainly efficient way of dealing with them. To be fair, I'm in no position to complain since I'm literally one-shotting them. Now, while roaming the sunken city, my eyes caught the glimpse of a red drop. But no ordinary red drop, this one had a cock ring around it, meaning that the loot would be extravagant. Not only was it extravagant, it was the most insane red drop I have ever gotten in my life. As when I spotted what was inside, I couldn't believe my eyes. Yes, that's right, an industrial forge? For free? They say having a girlfriend is the best feeling in the world. But have you ever gotten a free industrial forge? Yeah, I bet you haven't. I don't even know how I can prove that my loot drop quality is base, cause this literally just seems like I'm cheating at this point. After collecting the drop, I swam around a little bit in the hopes of finding more loot. Because, as we all know, you aren't human if you aren't overly greedy. And while searching, I found a little cavity in the wall which seemed like an entrance to a cave. Entering it, I swam past the dinos which were too afraid to attack me, and after swimming some more, I found myself in an arena, and inside was Sharko, a big mutant shark that looked like it was on copious amounts of anabolic steroids and had 500,000 HP. Yeah, I just ran straight out. No shot in hell I'm fighting something that looks like it came out of Satan's aquarium. At least not yet. On my way out, I discombobulated another behemoth of the deep, which at this point wasn't even that much of a feat itself. But why not mention it? Maybe someone comments, "Wow, Vex, you're such a glorious YouTuber." In fact, scientists have gathered in a top secret underground facility to discuss just how many subscribers you deserve. And after extensive calculations, they've settled on 16 nonillion. Truly a groundbreaking discovery. They also discovered that extensive cases of memory loss affect millions of people worldwide. What was I saying again? Anyways, if you ever hear of rumors about Vex DMing a girl with "Where you from, baby girl?" opening line, no the fuck you didn't. And on a completely unrelated note, my brain is now running purely on industrial grade caffeine and indestructible force of will. And I am frothing at the mouth for more incoming content. I see you typing that comment, man, you aren't slick. But please go ahead, engagement is always welcome here in the asylum. While going home, I also stopped by and got some crystal, because I was running out of it. Returning to our humble abode on day 29, I smacked down the industrial forge in the center of my spacious mansion. The sight of free industrial equipment. Best feeling in the world. Now, because I wanted to be extra bougie, I decided to craft myself a vault. And doing so, I smacked it down and proceeded to shove all of my possessions into it. Said possessions consisting of a variety of things, such as fiber, hide, wood, thatch, flint, stone, random armor, deadly weapons, caged animals, narcotics, primary and secondary raw materials, the entirety of Berserk's deluxe manga collection, and of course, copious amounts of hentai. What, are you expecting more? No, that's literally what I did for the entirety of day 29. And the day after wasn't that eventful either, so my notes literally say, farmed organic polymer, fucked around, and made a chem bench, which was the only notable thing that occurred that day. And for the last action, I'm going to let you take a wild guess based on the notes that I have written here as to what I did. Yep, you guessed it. Armed more polymer. Do not fret, as soon after, we finally get to fight the first of the 4 bosses on this map. Gearing up consisted of me bloating the mechanic with 3,000 tons of biotoxin, and then swimming back to the sunken city. Once I arrived there, I went back into the cave I found earlier, as I wanted to test out just how strong my mechanic is. And what better way to do so than take on the only boss I've seen so far. Initiate the fight. Sharko, the steroid-infused shark. Yeah, honestly, the aquatic sage seems to be more like a boss than this thing. They didn't even stand a chance. And to be fair, I don't feel bad at all, since despite having 500,000 HP, it gave me a mere 40 element in its head. Yeah, thanks a ton, dude. That really means something. To cool my head, I made my way over to the blue crystal area to farm organic polymer. Arriving there on day 32, I killed as many Karkinos as I possibly could. And while doing so, found the level 130 Acrophyseter. I butchered that name 100%, which is a genus of extinct sperm whales that lived in the late Miocene off of the coast of what is now Peru. What do you mean I read that off of the Wikipedia? Actually, I read it on the search page without entering the Wikipedia at all. Yeah, that's right. Never question my capabilities to Google information again, you little scrub. And it only wanted 1 squid meat. I mean, how hard could it be to get something as puny as squid meat? Well, as it turns out, it's as easy as talking to a girl that used to go to your high school class 3 years ago. It's almost impossible. These things spawn in pods. And for some goddamn reason, dismount you from your team. This was almost the end of me. I survived megalodons, oversized invertebrates and sea serpents, and I even survived getting spit roasted by 2 muscular goth girls. But small squids? Yeah, that's where we draw the line. These things are worse than Microraptors since there's multiple of them and they have no dismount cooldown. Thankfully, by God's grace, we somehow managed to kill them. Which after I harvested their meat and fed it to the acro, taming ourselves a small yet very useful tame, and you'll see why later on. However, that can wait. Going back towards the base, I made a Leviathan crafting station thingy, and on it I made the Leviathan iPad. Oh. Said Leviathan twice there. Well, thrice actually. On which I proceeded to spend the entirety of day 33 figuring out how the actual fuck it worked. Basically, there are 4 mini-games. First, the reflex game, which works like Undertale's combat system, except there are no cool skeletons here, just a 60-foot murder whale deciding if you live or die. The second one is the memory game. This one is by far the hardest. Since I'm a victim of the great doom-scrolling plague of 2020-something, my memory is non-existent. The third game is the switches game, in which you just turn these switches up and down until they completely fill the bar. Overshooting it overloads the cetacean hormones, making it have mood swings almost as violent as women on their monthly cycle. Please don't kill me. And the last game is the shape match game, where you have to match the orange shape with the gray shape by moving and looking around like you're in a VR escape room. Wow, that's a lot of information that you probably already forgot. Don't worry, I totally won't reuse this entire bit later on in the video for the sole purpose of more runtime so that I can say, ha ha, me big YouTuber, makes long videos, subscribe please. No, seriously, I won't. Now then, I made the acro saddle on day 34, and when I threw it out, it just so happened that it had a humble 41 skill points ready to be used. Nice. Well, all of it is going into movement speed, since I'd love to have a really fast travel mount. And holy! Look at this thing zooming! I'm so glad I tamed it. With the cetacean version of the Flash now on our team, I spent the rest of day 34 and the first half of day 35 searching for a high-level sperm whale. Hey, why'd you go, sperm, when I said sperm? Grow up, man, come on. And while I had no luck finding it, I did find a hidden area. And inside, I found something much better than a mere killer whale. I found a mini monkey, which was substantially better than any other thing I could have possibly gotten. So, I rubbed some major berries against its genital area before mounting it on my shoulder and swimming away. What? You thought I was gonna mount it on something else? You freak. Submerging myself back in water, I made my way back to the capital city, where I found a low-level sperm whale. There you go again, you're laughing again when they say sperm. Come on, dude, calm down. Now, I was going to ignore it. However, while passing it, it stunned me. And I tried to cryo my acro to keep it safe, but the fucking lunatic just turned around and just started duking it out. Before it got eviscerated though, I pulled the mechanic out of its Pokeball and bombed the mother. However, on a quite peculiar occasion, the calf survived. And not only that, I was also capable of claiming it? This made me aware of a very interesting possibility, which was to slay the parent of the calf and then claim it as mine. To think something so cruel was possible in this game, of course I had to do it. Stuffing it in my Pokeball, I went back to base and made a saddle for it. Now, curiosity got the better of me, so I wanted to try its moveset out. And to be honest, it was very disappointing. But this was probably because it was a low level, so I'll reserve my judgment until I find a higher level one. With that said, I proceeded to go back to the city and take my Yanger out on an Alpha Mosa. And doing so, I stumbled upon a level 130 Mosa. You know what? Despite it being a vanilla tame, I wanna get it. Who knows? It might come into use later on. After knocking it out, I spent the first half of day 38 waiting for it to tame, and slowly watching it ascend in the water. It's slowly going up. It's slowly going up. Yeah. Hey, at least that's some sort of entertainment. And going back home, something quite peculiar happened. An alpha raptor killed George in front of my very own eyes. This was devastating. My heart was broken and my soul shattered into a million pieces like my wallet after buying Diablo 4. I was so heartbroken that I just decided to end my suffering right then and there. However, upon dying, my game crashed. And loading back in, I was back in the sunken city waiting for my Mosa to tame. This was Killer Queen's power. Yes, that's right. I was a stand user all along. Going back to my base, this time aware of the future, the Alpha Raptor didn't even dare to spawn, since it knew I was aware of its puny presence now, which effectively allowed me to save George the Mesopithecus. To unwind a little bit, I spent the entirety of day 39 farming metal with my Dunkleo. What? Do you expect me to make this entertaining? I mean, I can try. Look at how this Dunkleo is pulverizing those metal rocks! Oh my god, it's so entertaining! Oh, you clicked off the video. Damn. In any case, day 40 started off with crafting a Mosa saddle, which after, I spent the entirety of that day leveling the Mosa. Doing so was as entertaining as watching paint dry, underwater, while having your nipples electrocuted. And also, you get the point, it was boring. The only notable thing to happen while leveling was me finding a Liopleurodon, which naturally, I munched on. Advancing our exploration journey into the following day, I finally found a rumored Carkino's bubble. And then crashed. Loading back in, I resumed my conquest in Atlantis. Swimming deeper into the unknown, Poseidon himself extended his hand towards me, and opening it, he let out a level 120 Leviathan. 120! 120! 120! 120! 120! 120! 120! 120! 120! 120! Yes! One of the strongest ocean predators could be mine, if I manage to seize it. And that is a gargantuan if, because this thing is a ticking time bomb. Its emotional stability is on par with that of a high school girl whose parents just got divorced. It's non-existent. And hey, don't you dare type some smart-ass comment about this, okay? My parents are divorced. This means I automatically get to make jokes about it without any consequences. Anyway, back to the star of the show. I lured it towards the nearest air bubble, interlinked my brain wavelength with it, and began taming away. The tame dragged on into day 42, until finally, we filled the tame bar, which promptly spawned a two-soat Utis nearby. To seal our friendship, we had to help the primordial whale defeat it. We were absolutely bulldozing the oversized squid. It stood no chance against my crossbow and my cetacean friend's wrath. At this point, victory was guaranteed. Until the oversized whale, in a shocking display of ungratefulness, decided to have a temper tantrum mid-battle, swinging its tail around and slaying me. Instantly. We were winning, man. We were so close, so very close. And then, the unhinged fish backstabbed me without any hesitation. This thing does not want to be my friend. However, I'm too hard-headed to quit now. I got on my tidal sprite, swam back to the city, and started the fight with the Tuso. For real this time. I let the deep sea menace get the last hit, but unfortunately, the tame didn't count because I died. So, I had to do it all over again. Which took the rest of this day and half of the next one. Finally, with the help of the Glaucus, I obliterated the Tuso and let the Leviathan finish it off. And just look at that animation. God, that is so cool. Returning home, I crafted 2 bone saddles and fused them into one, making it even stronger than before. Because a beast such as this deserves fitting attire. Which, funnily enough, were the exact same words my ex said when she first saw my penis. Now saddled up, I ventured out into the open ocean to level this thing up. With a high-level whale, it's about time to show you just how powerful this thing is. Its base attack is a simple chomp. Nothing crazy, we all start somewhere. Right-clicking does a side bash with its head. There's also the tail slam, which can hit left, right, or center. The sonic blast is the famous, terrifying attack that blinds enemies. But not only that, it also knocks everything back, giving you some breathing room. Then, there's the ultimate move. You start ramping up speed while sprinting, and crashing into the enemies like a school bus filled with TNT.
That's quite big. Impressive.
There's also a water jump, but seeing as the surface of the ocean isn't accessible, yeah, that move is useless. But everything else, absolutely deadly. So, what better way to test it out than committing mass amounts of violence against an Alpha Tuso, which I completely coincidentally found just chilling about in a random cavern. The battle raged on, stretching into the next day. Every blow felt like getting hit in the testicles by a vibranium-spiked mace. Until finally, my balls swung back, slapping the giant squid across its basketball-sized eye and killing it from the sheer amount of blunt force. With the Tuso slain, I swam back home and I was actually out of stuff to do. So, I remember I had one of those ophthalmo something sources stored back at the base. It could work as a makeshift travel mount, but let's be honest, it probably wouldn't rival what I already had. Although, it had a genuinely cool ability of thermal vision, which was awesome, but honestly, I wasn't feeling it. The acro was just too damn good. Speaking of the acro, day 46 started off with me finishing off an Alpha Mosa with it. No, not like that, you freak. I meant landing the final blow. Jesus Christ, man, can you stop being so horny? Dear God. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was hitting a mental block here. For the next 4 soul-crushing days, my brain had completely imploded on itself. I became a lifeless husk, aimlessly farming metal like a medieval peasant with terminal exhaustion. The only thing keeping me alive hatred, and caffeine. I brainlessly farmed metal and crystal, and in those 4 days, I got exactly one single artifact. Riveting gameplay. Yeah, this was excruciatingly boring. However, there's always something worse. Just imagine taking a nail clipper and snapping one of your front teeth in half. That, yet again, made you flinch. I know everything about you, especially the fact that you still haven't subscribed. Speaking about subscribers, for the 1K special, I will be doing a 24-hour stream. So make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Now, on day 51, I found something new. Something revolutionary. A cave. Swimming into it, I made my way past the monsters inside. And on the other side was something absolutely terrifying. No, not a woman, the water monster. This thing had 900,000 HP and was a tech mosasaur. However, this didn't bother me in the slightest. With my ego now transcending every shape and form of rationality, I took my abyssal tyrant out of his pokeball, ready to go full whale shit on this thing. Unluckily for me, it was the exact opposite. As I went from breaking necks to getting my choker snapped, this thing was dealing 2,000 damage per hit, meaning that Moby Thick was about to get his shit rocked. I tried getting it into a Pokeball, but doing so, I miserably died. On my body weren't only the Leviathan, but my Yakro as well, which I've kinda grown attached to. So, it was my duty to save them. After all, how can I call myself a man if I betray my friends? If I refuse to take responsibility and instead hide inside my bubble of comfort? If I pretend to be someone's friend in words, but don't back it up with my actions? How can I call myself a man? No, a human, if I don't take responsibility. After all, being an emperor means I must carry the weak on my shoulders, despite my arms being cut off. Water monster, you will rue this day, as I, Vexylon of the surface, shall strike you down on my one and only legendary mount, the Mechanic. Now, prepare to be consumed in a vortex of electrons, you fiend. So, yeah, you come here often? Yeah, this was just playing whack-a-mole, only the mole was put in a wheelchair and I was given Thor's hammer. It took 15 minutes to kill this chunky piece of flesh, meaning that my body despawned. My big fish, my small fish, both gone. Cast into the endless void because of my incompetence. I didn't even have time to mourn. I had to get out of this cave before I joined them. Going back home on my Tide Rider, it was only now that I realized how used I got to the Acro's speed. Even the mighty Sea Dragon seemed slow when compared to it. I guess that you never know how much something means until you lose it, especially when it's your fault. Meh, I'm not gonna get all sentimental about an in-game dinosaur. As a way to cope with my disappointment, I spent the entirety of day 53 fighting, slaying an Alpha Tuso and an Alpha Mosa, and as a cherry on top, I found beer! Fuck yeah, baby! Who doesn't like free alcohol? I am so happy now, and getting even happier, I found a level 100 Leviathan. So, I was just going to kill the parent and steal the child. However, for some extremely odd reason, I couldn't claim the kid. That was extremely disappointing. I'm not entirely sure why I couldn't claim it, which genuinely sucked. But oh well, I guess we'll just sacrifice it instead. Now, while we are on the topic of oversized carnivorous whales, don't worry, I'm not talking about your mom.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
We're gonna start farming to summon the Alpha one, which is the strongest whale of them all. To do so, we'll need an ungodly amount of rare tributes, such as Alpha Mosa Teeth and Alpha Duso Eyes. So, to cut you guys some slack, I spent the entirety of day 55 through 60 farming said tributes. In an agonizing hour and a half of spreading pure malevolence throughout the oceans, I acquired all of the tributes needed to make the Leviathan horn. However, not by farming them. I spawned them in. I mean, come on! You guys should know me already. Where do you expect me to find 30 motherfucking Alpha Tusos? Where? Where? Up my ass? Look, I can fit some pretty large foreign objects in there, okay? But 30 Alpha Tusos? What do you take me for? A New York City hooker? 5 is the most I can do. Yes, I spawned the tributes in, and no, I am not sorry about doing so. I would rather cheat them in than spend 35 fucking days farming them up. Not because I am too lazy. Well, okay, I am. But because then the video would be extremely boring. If you don't like it, write a hate comment, print it out, and wipe your ass with it because we are moving on. With this artifact in our possessions, we can now summon the Alpha Leviathan. However, tackling such a ferocious beast ourselves would be too dangerous. So, I had to call for backup. Said backup would only arrive on day 90, so we'll have to wait until then. In the meantime, since we are closing in on fighting the bosses, it's about time to get some land mounts, since not everything in this place is fully submerged. And what better mount to get than the Carnage Croc himself, the Dinosuchus, which was, without a doubt, the best land and boss mount on this map. And you'll see why once we get to the fights. Until then, I spent the entirety of day 61 and the morning of day 62 searching for any Dinosuchus. And while I haven't found a single one, I did find a level 95 Leviathan. Conveniently for me, it also had a level 95 calf right next to it, which was now legally mine. After adopting it, I went back to base and dropped it off into the vault, as well as making myself a ghillie suit, which is mandatory when it comes to taming the Dinosuchus. And while I was at it, I also repaired my scuba tank. What? I can't breathe underwater because of the strong currents, you know? Speaking about strong underwater currents, also I got a pee, so yeah, that's gonna be the end of day 62. I'm sorry guys, it's gonna take some time. Phew, that was refreshing. The piss session was so otherworldly that I managed to manifest a level 150 Dinosuchus into the physical realm. Is this like a fucking joke or something? Like, wait, I gotta try again, hold on. No, it's an actually max level Dinosuchus. Yeah, this is just 1% of my power. Wait until I get to pooping. Physiological needs aside, I spent the entirety of day 63 taming the dino, starting with me actually learning it into the bubble, which was, for some reason, extremely hard. It would come up to the edge of the bubble, and then just turn around, fart in my face, and swim back into the abyss like nothing ever happened. Long story short, I was being edged by a 5-ton murder croc. Hey, at least it was a female. After some back and forth, and me screaming some unpleasant things to her, she finally turned around and went inside the bubble, which then allowed me to spend the rest of the day taming her. I just got an eargasm listening to all of those chomps. After a full in-game day, we finally tamed the Dinosuchus on day 64. This was already an accomplishment on its own. However, the game wasn't done with being generous, and decided to crash right as I was about to name my new biological weapon. Well, my game crashed again. You can't make this up. Oh my god. Hey, in-game Vex, calm down, man. Let's think about this, okay? You don't want to do anything stupid. Hello everybody, Vexylon here, and welcome back to another episode of Denying Ark's bullshit. As you might have noticed, after I tamed this beautiful Dinosuchus here, my game crashed, and now I have to tame it again. So instead of doing that, since I did tame it in a legit way, I'm just going to come to it, say, hello there, beautiful. If you have a problem with me respawning this creature in, please make sure to leave a very spiteful comment. Thank you very much. Now, back to recording. Wow, That's just amazing. Okay, recording Vex, you've brought this upon yourself, man. Now, brace for the onslaught of backseating chronically online Ark gurus to siege the comment section and start hate bombing you.
How dare you desecrate the holy act of doing the same thing over and over again because Wildcard's game is poorly optimized.
Well, if you were to use your brain for a split second, which I know is already a monumental request on its own, scroll down to the description of the video for me real quick. Yeah, and read the last line. What does that say, huh? Video was made for fun? Yeah, I know you aren't familiar with the term fun, but for the love of God, man, at least acquaint yourself with basic grammar before casting a generational curse of infertility onto my bloodline. On the topic of bloodlines, I made sure to end a significant portion of them with my brand new quadrupedal death machine. This thing was insanely strong. I literally jumped a Leviathan family of 3, stole their child support money, and then tore their clavicles out and mercilessly beat them to death using them. Such a heinous act of malevolence was noticed by Poseidon, which then called his big brother Zeus to strike my house down and remove my electricity, resulting in the footage of day 66 getting corrupted. Don't worry, I totally didn't forget to press record and spend the entirety of that day leveling up. What do you take me for? Someone who doesn't have the slightest clue when it comes to being a YouTuber? Well, if you do, you'd be absolutely correct. I'm just a dude with an editing software and a loose tongue. Now, my electricity came back on day 67, which started off by us running into a new cave. And upon entering the cave, my game crashed. Did you crash again? Bro! How many times is my fucking game going to crash? Yeah, don't be surprised if you see more crashing going forward. I did some digging and it appears that Nvidia screwed something up with their brand new drivers, which turns Ark Survival Ascended into Russian Roulette Revolutionized. Every time you alt-tab, there's a 50-50 chance Ark takes over your PC and forces you to restart it. I'm serious, you can't even end it using the task manager, which is extremely dumb. Let's boycott Nvidia so their stocks drop and I can get right in on the money. Loading back inside the cave, I made my way through. However, the artifact was missing. So I AFK'd for the rest of the day in the cave, but to no avail, as the artifact didn't spawn. Unfortunately, as soon as it did spawn, I went to collect it, but sadly my OBS didn't record it. Aw, dang it, man! If only I could alt-tab without my game crashing to actually start the recording, I would be able to give you the footage! Don't worry, as I did keep the footage of myself getting the artifact of something. I didn't write it in my notes, and I'm too lazy to re-watch the footage back to know I got the artifact of the shadows. I also got the artifact of the lost, while efficiently confusing my friend pre-cutting the footage for me. Because I actually got the artifact of the lost first, but was too lazy to switch it around. I bet I had you there, buddy. Enough attention for him though. He's supposed to be locked in the basement without anyone's knowledge. Day 70 started off with us returning home, depositing our treasures into the vault, and making another Leviathan saddle, which I then put onto my second-born child and grinded with it for the whole day. As the sun rose once again, I found myself inside of the snow bubble, where I abducted a baby woolly rhino child. There was also this area in the snow that housed desert creatures. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Because where else would you find a thorny dragon other than a -15 Celsius submerged snow globe? What? Did you lose a bet or something? Did your crush ask you for a rare flower that could only be found here? Next to it was a family of direwolves and their child who was a high level. So naturally, I did what any responsible adult would do, since we all know that everyone over the age of 18 isn't capable of making a single mistake. Judging off of that, I abducted a child, and before you ask, Don't worry, as I will not be elaborating. The idea was to have some extra land mounts I could bring into the fight. However, spoiler alert, I never brought them in. Or did I? Only way to find out is by staying until the end. Our taming spree wasn't over yet though, since I added a new creature that I stumbled upon while scrolling the mods page. The Atlantis shark. It is plated with stone armor and has a horn on the front of its head that can impale things on it like they are skewers. This thing eats termite like Badlands chugs drinks ocean water. The only way to get said termite is by slaying the very same shark that likes to eat it. Wait, are these things cannibals? Probably, but hey, as long as they don't start organizing orchestrated rebellions, we're good. The last thing we need in today's society is thermal unicorn sharks mounting us on top of their magma dildos like Vlad the Impaler. The search for termite took one full day cycle, which was as entertaining as watching a man eat a whole banana without peeling the skin off. Okay, we've got our termite, now we just need to find the shark. Which was a daunting task of its own, dragging on until the sunrise of day 75. Taming it was light work compared to finding it, as it is one of those tames that take way longer to find, but are easily acquired once found. Anyhow, after the mechanic bit it a couple of times, it got knocked out, and soon after, it finally tamed. And just when I was about to start leveling it, I found the level 125 one. So, me being myself, I tamed that shark as well. Now, I had two options. Accept my two sharks as they were, or become an unethical geneticist that would make the almighty Q recoil in fear and genetically engineer a creature so powerful that the SCP Foundation would track my location down, strap me into a sex swing, and reward me with 7 weeks of uninterrupted alone time with SCP-1471-A. I am not a furry, I just like to experiment sometimes. I think the option I chose is crystal clear, since on day 77, my old shark ejected a new one out of its body. Heaven, here I come. I took the newborn creature out for a swim, and when I saddled it up, you could say that the models were a little stretched. Yeah, this is how stretched that damn monster will be after I'm done with her. Dear Vexylon, please do not turn your channel into a 4chan thread. Damn, you're right, man. My fault. The thermal monster had some very sick abilities, such as the heat mechanic. It basically works by the shark crunching on termite, getting as hot as SCP-1, and being able to set the things it impales on fire. But forget the free oxygen and the fancy saddle. This thing lets me cook food while riding it. Damn right. Say bye to starvation with the Atlantis shark for only $49.99. While swimming around with it, I ran into 2 high-level acros, which I gladly tamed. I really wanted to ride one of these miniature sperm whales again, and also tamed this gigantic hydroclitoris thing, or however you wanna call it. Wanting to relive my old acro's glory days, I fought an Alpha Mosa. The plan? Let my acro get the finishing blow. Sadly, my goldfish brain dozed off, and I accidentally beamed it to death. Okay, this means we'll have to pay a visit to Sharko once again. This boss reminds me of a cartoon I used to watch every night before I went to sleep while I was a little kid. It was called Zig and Sharko. Zig is this brown little gremlin that is trying to eat the mermaid princess while Sharko is protecting her. Why am I telling you this? Definitely not padding for runtime. Definitely. Anyways, Sharko mini-boss is dead, and I did level up my acro. However, it wasn't nearly as fast as my last one. This is when I realized that the acro I tamed was from the Sunken World mod, not from the Aquaria mod. The difference is, the Sunken Worlds ones have glowing dots, and the Aquaria ones don't. Yeah. That's the difference. Hey, at least he got a cool scuba saddle as tribute, so that's a small win for me. Okay, so it's day 80. As you can see, I don't really feel like playing the game, so I'm just gonna eat. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for this whole day. After gorging myself on that pristine meal, I was pumped. So I went out and killed an Alpha Megalodon. that is your cue to clap. Thank you very much. And I also found a high-level Sarco nearby. Now, I'll gladly tame it, since it's going to be a crucial aspect in our strategy for defeating the 2 land bosses. And as for the strategy itself, you'll see when we get to the fights. Anyhow, taming the Sarco was smooth sailing. I mean, compared to the morbid creatures we had to tame before, this is nothing. Once it tamed up, I took it out for a spin, killed an alpha meg, and then found not 1, but 2 alpha mosas next to each other. 2 alpha mosas, what? They also happened to be male and female. Are you 2 engaged? Like, the fuck? Wake up, cocksuckers! Valentine's Day is long gone. Both of you shall experience the wrath of the Sarcosuchus. No love is allowed in these oceans as long as my name is Vexylon the Submerged. I am totally not building up the character of an incel for the sake of baiting hate engagement. Returning from the battle is triumphant. I didn't feel like playing on day 83. What? Are you expecting a punchline or something? No, I'm dead serious. I just didn't feel like playing. Is it that big of a deal? Ugh. Returning from being AFK, I spent the entirety of day 84 and day 85 farming resources to upgrade the saddles of my creatures. Since I've heard that the bosses here are very strong, I wanted to make sure my creatures had top-notch gear for the upcoming battles, which resulted in me getting a 130 armor Dino saddle and a 100 armor Glaucus saddle. I already had a Sarco saddle I found earlier, so that was it for the gear. Now, I wanted to try out an interesting strategy I've seen used by the great Syntac himself on the Alpha Leviathan, which was to get an army of high levels I packed in as fishes and kamikaze them into the Alpha Whale so they can stack bleed on it and shred its HP. So, starting that off, I searched far and wide for a high level one, and I soon found it, only for it to die for some dumb reason. I don't understand what the actual fuck happened here. It just hit me, started healing, and then started losing HP simultaneously. Look, I don't understand what happened here, but hey, it's Ark, so I don't even want to begin asking questions. Thankfully, since these doofy fucks are very abundant on the map, I easily found another high level one close by. This one was an even higher level, so it was all worth it in the end. The way I tamed these guys was kinda risky and unorthodox. Since they're low on HP, if they hit me, they'll get electrocuted and die if they're too low on HP. So I kited it while going backwards and knocked it out fairly easily. Funnily enough, it did some weird acrobatics move and fell to the ground. Despite us being in water, it literally just sank into the floor like it was wearing cement bricks as shoes. And on top of that, it just starved completely in mere seconds. Yeah, Ark Gurus, go ahead and explain that. Ha! I bet you can't. Oh, look at them typing like a little gremlin, curling their toes and drooling over their keyboard, like a rabid animal when it sees a piece of flesh on the ground. Disgusting. You know what else is disgusting? This goddamn fish I just tamed. Its mouth is terrifying. That's the male one. Now, we just need to find a female one. And would you look at that? Atlantis just seems to be the duty fish fuck central, as there's just so many of them here. Now, this one I knocked out. However, a manta attacked it, and in an effort to defend it, I accidentally hit it, knocking its taming effectiveness down to 35%. And we all know that had I tamed this fish with 35% effectiveness, I would have been burned at the stake by the Ark Gurus as a heretic. So, I AFK'd until the end of day 88 before it woke up, and started knocking it out again, only for Sharkland Central to appear behind the fish. And, of course, just coincidentally, out of pure chance, the fish turns around and swims into the pod of sharks. No! You wanna know what happened next? The fish got violently gangbanged. You fucking idiot! Bro! Where did Sharkland Central come from? 25 sharks and now here, fuck off! Yes, everyone! Everyone wants to suck Vex's cock. Yeah. Oh, if only it were girls that wanted to do that. No! It's an alpha megalodon! I was so angry that this happened because I just wasted 3 days taming this thing only for it to commit suicide. And what did I do to cope with what just happened? I killed the sharks. And I even hit this shark so hard I unhinged its jaw. Is its jaw supposed to be like that? You know what, man? You do you. But all of this was futile in the end. So, returning back from our conquest, defeated, I spent the entirety of day 89 preparing for tomorrow, making extra scuba gear, getting an industrial cooker for Metabrews, and the most important of all, mentally breaking down while I was still alone.
Later that same evening.
Hello?
Why did I do this?
Why are you laughing? What the fuck?
How do I turn the music? Oh wait, in settings, yeah. That would make sense.
Yeah, did you try maybe going into settings? Oh, and my game is frozen. Let's go.
Off to the great start.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the cool little card numbers.
It works! Let's fucking go, baby! It works! Okay, hopefully nobody sees this avatar that Ellie has, or I will get demonetized.
Oh, it's installing the mods. Oh no, we're gonna be here forever.
No!
I'm only
4 out of 0.
What, 4
out of 0?
What?
It's got a circle and the circle's halfway.
Circle?
There's like a half well, it's a whole circle. It's filled in like a half circle. It's just nod your head.
Okay. They need to add a mod where you can just pick any color for your skin color.
We can just dye ourselves.
You can? Like your skin?
Yeah, you can paint. I think somebody else has to paint you, but...
Okay, well, we know what we're doing for day 90, baby!
Oh, I accidentally kept myself as a girl, but I don't feel like changing into a man because I feel like it'll change everything that I just did, so... I'm gonna be SpongeBob-it. Does SpongeBob have a big butt?
I don't know.
I don't want to search SpongeBob butt. Okay, I regret doing that. Oh, I look like SpongeBob. It's okay. I can create a new character.
No, keep it. Oh my god. No, I see you. Look at you. SpongeBob. Bro, you look so goofy skedaddling down there. Oh my god. Hey, let's go! Patrick! Look at it! Okay, look. Come here. Look at this big croc.
Oh.
Why'd you make that sound? The fuck? What the actual fuck is this thing? I feel like Gru with his minions, dude.
Why is it taking so long?
If I punch you, are you gonna die?
No.
If I punch you, am I gonna get killed by the dino?
I see, there's only one way to find that out.
Yes!
Asleep! I fell asleep!
Ew, I'm on! Let's go! Okay, enough of violence against women. I'm gonna get demonetized. Hold on.
Okay.
You guys said you need food? Eat up.
Let's go!
What are we supposed to do again?
Get to day 100 and kill the boss.
There's 3 bosses, so we have to start actually
Kill
doing
all
shit.
bosses, yeah.
Okay, so who's taking what?
Kill the wolf.
Alright, I'll take the Sarko.
Poncho, are you coming?
Yep.
Oh, you're there. Fuck. Okay, dude. So, we can go? Okay, I almost died.
Where did it?
It's below you.
Oh, it's like... Where can I see it? Where is it?
Below
Oh,
you.
it's right there.
Okay. So, follow me. We're gonna go over here, this way, into the scary mossy bit. Look at this lineup. We got the squad. We're looking for a big tech glowing circle thing. Oh, here it is on the left,
Oh, I see.
Wait, let's take care of... Oh, wait, what is this, man? Sharkland Central? There's 57 megalodons here.
Oh, donkeys!
Donkeys? Ellie, come here. Because you're on the Direwolf, I'm gonna give you my crossbow so you can start doing stuff with it, maybe. SpongeBob?
Oh, I think I might have crashed.
Oh, no. Okay.
Probably not.
We got to protect SpongeBob.
Okay. I'm
Floating
back in.
poop. Floating poop. Throw your direwolf out. And like get on
Do I
it.
have to catch it?
Yeah, you
Okay.
do.
Come here, buddy.
I got it for you. Ah! It's going up. Okay. We gotta go because the direwolf will drown.
Yeah.
Buck, are you there? Buck! Buck!
I'm get scared right now.
Let's go! Let's go, baby! Okay, wait, come here, come here. Victory selfie, victory selfie. Yeah, come
I
here,
don't
come
know
here,
where
come
the Sarko went.
Oh, that's Vendo, fuck. Okay, yeah, so that went well.
Make sure to give
No.
your team a little bit of food so that way it can heal.
I don't need food to heal, I have potions. Alright, I'm gonna go pee. You guys, I don't know, figure out what to do. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Okay. Get the materials for a cage.
I'm already on it.
Unbeknownst to me, while I was partaking in the acts of watering the toilet, my dear guests decided to mercilessly beat me to death and put me in a cage. Although, what they didn't know at the time was that I had over 100 fortitude. So, they ended up killing me instead.
Okay, now we can knock him out. Oh, wait, we killed him!
Where the fuck am I dead? Hello?
I don't know. Oh, I missed.
You good? You're kinda bad at this.
Yeah, just kinda.
Oh look, it's my
I
body.
got your game, not you. Got him. Go, 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 go.
This is what they get for inviting my viewers to play with me, by the way. Never doing this shit again.
If we set a pin code quick so he has to set one to get out. Damn it, no! I'm going around feeding all of his teams because I looked into Enki and it had no food.
Okay, we should start heading over to the boss arena, I think. Did it just glow up? Okay, are we ready?
Wait, I need to throw out the...
Oh yeah, that will. Fuck.
Ah, come here!
Oh no, shit.
It's okay, it's okay.
Oh my god, that was too close. Okay, and the last boss is underwater. Oh, well, ain't that convenient? Yeah, let's go. A level 120 Rex now that you've beaten the only 2 land bosses in the game. Yeah. Wait, I'll, hey, why is the grill on?
I was cooking food.
I was trying to burn down the house.
Crouch, I wanna play leapfrog with you. Patrick, crouch! Okay, here, go ahead.
Oh yeah, let's go!
Let's go! Oh, fuck. Aberrant Carbo Nemes. Hey, yo, I'm on the turtle! Oh my god, put the clothes
Oh,
back
we
on.
should take this this time to get the paints and paint ourselves.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah, we can get the paint. Yeah.
There's cyan too.
Oh, yeah, because I'm Squidward. Okay, well, I got a shitload of berries, so take what you need.
But the mechanics of Ark doesn't make sense, so why would it make sense to mix all of the colors together to make brown?
Oh, I have a toilet! Wait.
That's how you make brown.
Yeah, wait. Okay, and how do I paint stuff?
There's a couple different pinks.
Okay.
And there's the greens.
Okay, Patrick, get naked for me real quick. Oh my god, why is it so little? Can you see him turning pink?
Yeah.
I think I might need more pink paint.
Okay, what color is that one?
It's pink.
Why is there sleigh on my back? Yeah!
You need more green. What
Yeah.
color green?
Wait. It's a Shatiao. Shatiao color.
What?
It says Shatiao. C-H-A-T-E-A-U.
Chateau.
Shatiao, yeah, that.
Why does my stomach move like that when I breathe?
What the fuck?
Okay, the gang's all ready.
Oh
Wait, what'd you
my
put on
God,
his
that
back?
looks fabulous. How do you... Wait, come here. How do you rate the service of painting?
11 out of 10.
Ayo! I look like Voldemort.
My shoes are uneven.
Too bad. Oh, my game crashed again!
So, we ran into a problem.
Huh?
He decided to jump off a cliff and die.
Are you
So
fucking
we're
kidding me?
painting.
For this one, we'll go to a different boss arena area because this boss needs to be underwater. Are we ready?
I was stuck in the bubbles.
We'll get there by day 101. And
I swear.
Hmm?
Ark's just crashed.
No.
It's okay. At least it crashed now and not during the fight.
Yeah. Fair point. Okay, you guys. This boss is very dangerous. So, good luck. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Hold on. Stand there. 'Cause I gotta summon this thing.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Well, there we go. I killed it. Okay, it dropped a lot of ascendant stuff. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's worth it. 1.4 million HP. So, at least we proved that, the Glaucus isn't so broken. Alright, guys, let's calm down. Come here. Okay, dude. Okay, fuck it, there's no outro, bye.